Join me for a look at the Oshawa Museum's latest feature exhibit, Untold Oshawa. On March 8, 1924, Oshawa officially became a city in the province of Ontario. 2024 marked 100 years of cityhood, and to mark that anniversary, the Oshawa Museum undertook a project called Untold Oshawa. There have been many history books written about the history of Oshawa, but typically they've been looked at with a very narrow focus. We've wanted to expand the narratives, expand the stories being told, and we did that with our new book, Untold Oshawa, An Expanded History. The exhibit, Untold Oshawa, is an extension of that new book, and throughout this exhibit there are various themes and topics being explored, themes and topics which are explored in more detail in the book. We are looking at this exhibit as a way to start telling those stories, and we hope people will continue on with them by purchasing or by reading the book. Join me for a look through some of these stories being told in Untold Oshawa. Untold Oshawa is on display here in Robinson House at the Oshawa Museum, and each room has a different topic or theme being explored. One of the very first rooms you walk into has our Ennis & Co. piano, manufactured here in Oshawa, Ontario. We chose this room to feature the local Jewish story because there was a man named Sam Collis. He was an accomplished musician. He often would offer music lessons being offered at various locations in downtown Oshawa, and for a number of years he was the musician at the Regent Theatre. Remember, at the time there was no sound in movies. They were all silent pictures at the time, and you would have needed an accompanist on the piano to help play and add that soundtrack to movies. Sam Collis was that musician at the Regent Theatre for a number of years, which is why we chose to tell the story of the local Jewish community here in the room with the piano. Within this room, we are sharing different stories of the local Jewish community, from landmarks, businesses, and families who have established here, made their mark and their legacy here in Oshawa. Club Carib has been a very active and vital part of Oshawa's cultural community since they were established in the 1960s. Behind me is a really special object in our collection. It was made here in Oshawa, one of Oshawa's very first steel pans. Melissa Cole, the curator of the Oshawa Museum, and myself were able to sit down with a man named Carlisle and his wife Juliet. And Carlisle told us the story of how in the spring of 1971, he hand-tuned 16 oil drums and turned them into Oshawa's very first steel pan orchestra. You can actually listen to Carlisle telling his story here.
And he told us, "Don't you know there's a club here?" I said, "No, we didn't know anything about it." So then one thing led to the other, and he was talking here. He said we'd like to have people who know anything about the Caribbean to help with the club and so on and things. So one thing led to the other, and my brother told him, well, I was a pan tuner in Trinidad. I tuned for a lot of bands in Trinidad. And he said, but I used to do it, you know. So George said, what would that be? Would I possibly be able to start a band here? I said, well, I'll have to get drums and all of that. I was sort of making it. But George, who worked at City Hall, he went and he got okay to go at things.
Mission to go to the dump.
Yeah. And we got about 16 whole drums.
Wow.
You know? They got it all down and brought it down at Evangeline Drive. Luckily, we had a walk-out basement. So we had them all in the yard. We trained some of the neighbors would look and say, what? So that's where I did all the tuning of the pants.
That was in the winter.
He was saying, I hope we could, yes, it was April, more or less, yeah. March, half of March, yes. So I did a lot of work. I was working at Ajax, and I would come home in the evening and I would start tuning these pines.
We sent him to the basement.
I'd be pounding these pines. I was a bit worrisome because my sister-in-law just had a baby, you know.
Diane.
Yeah. So I tuned these pines, and George was saying, "You think we'd be ready for July the 1st parade?" You know, I said, "Well, I don't know. We have to get the guys." And I taught them, you know, I had a blackboard and I tried to show them a bit of music, how to play the pans, you know. And we got a full set of pans, and each person, but the members were very, very receptive. They listened, you know, and they were good. I tried my best, and we got it ready for July the 1st. It was a great thing that we did that, because the people of Oshawa had never seen these things, you know, and they were looking at the pans where the music was coming from. It was a great
They would
thing.
look under the drum.
So you did all of that in about 4 months?
But it was
Wow. That's incredible.
It was. I can't do that again.
Throughout the exhibit, you might see some empty spaces, and there might be a sign in that space saying, "Artifact not found." This was an intentional choice by Melissa Cole, the curator of this exhibit. Sometimes we just simply didn't have an object or a photo that helps us tell these stories. They are very important for us to be telling them. We feel that these stories are of great importance, even if we don't necessarily have the photo or an object to help support telling that. We thought it would be impactful to have those signs throughout the exhibit saying, "Object not found." Untold Oshawa is on display at the Oshawa Museum. It opened in November of 2024 and will be on display throughout the rest of 2025. If you haven't had a chance to visit the Oshawa Museum lately, we invite you to come on down for a tour, especially to see this exhibit. And after your visit to the exhibit, be sure to stop by the Oshawa Museum gift shop and get your hands on Untold Oshawa, An Expanded History. This is the book that this exhibit is based from, and we truly do hope people enjoy the read as much as we enjoyed the process of researching it and culminating it into this wonderful publication. Thanks for joining me today for this look at the exhibit Untold Oshawa. We hope to see you soon at the Oshawa Museum.